Hey everybody, Sam Dennehy. Another episode of Halfass Presents podcast. Today we're having two special guests, Greg Dixon. This is his second appearance on the show, as well as Johnny MacIntosh. I think this is second or third time he's been on. He's been on the live podcast, live stream. So I think this is his third. We're going to talk about Greg's train set that he has, his train layout, and Johnny is going to help co-host this episode and ask all the questions that I probably won't even think about asking. So it'll be good to get more eyes on the subject instead of just me being the host talking about something I don't know anything about. So with that being said, without further ado, let's get these guys on and see what Greg's layout is all about.
Sounds like a plan. Whenever you're ready.
All right, looks like we're recording. Hey everybody, this is Sam Dennehy. Another episode of Halfass Presents the podcast. And like I said in the monologue, we've got Greg Dixon. Greg, you have this awesome train layout you have a train layout. Why don't you tell us a little bit about
it that way. It's not awesome. It's okay.
I mean, there's parts of it that look pretty cool from what you just showed me. But yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your train layout and show us anything you want us to see about it?
Yeah, let me start in the beginning. Let's go that route,
Okay.
Probably the easiest way. I'm going to turn the phone around so I don't screw it up this time. So anyway, okay, I'm in my front porch, and this is where I actually started the layout back in '94, which originally was going to be just a basic switching layout at that time, but it turned into later on I wanted to do full operations more or less, so I've added, and I'll show you that as we go along. So as you can see, this is my one section of town I have worked on. It started out, I wanted it mainly because I at the time I was liking to build locomotives a lot, so I wanted to build a locomotive shop so I can have the locomotives come out, or in fact even cars, new rolling stock coming out. So this is what I did. It is a little dusty, it hasn't been running in a while, so but I do have some stuff done all the way down to here. Now this track here that you can see my finger pointing at actually curves to the right and goes through a wall, which I'll show you on the other side where it's supposed to come out. And then this track all comes down here, and there's heavy industry along this side, which is storage right now for all the buildings that are off the other layout that I'm still working on, the new section. So you can see it's kind of a little crowded with everything here. You can see I also have a ton of stuff sitting on the floor which needs to get put away, which will be put away once I figure out what I'm doing with it. So let's see. I have one of the things I had talked to Sam earlier about was my father had passed away, who was a meat cutter, which I had made his little meat shop, so he has a memorial to him and all. And I have my wife's bakery shop over in the corner there. So and then here's some of the vehicles that I've done. So there, you see that. Then it'll go through this wall underneath the bridge right there. It'll come out, if you will, eventually right here, and then it'll go along that back, along the yard. That's a 3-track yard back there. And in this front section here, you see these cars here. There will be some industry which I haven't decided on what I'm going to do with yet. I do have an auto unloading facility. As you can see, it's all set up with automobiles. Majority of the ones I've cast over time. And then the tracks come back here. And then as you can see, this pile of vehicles is actually the section where the layout from the other room comes through and then meets here and then goes running down through there. If you look down here, you'll see the can't remember what the red one is now, but the green one's a Burlington Northern auto rack. But the other one next to that actually is a pig terminal that'll be put in. And then there's just a tire plant, which got bumped again. So right here, and then this section right here where this track doesn't belong here. It's just sitting for the sake. This is actually going to be a grain elevator system right here. It comes through, comes down along here. We'll keep going. That's a flower company, which I haven't decided where it's going to go yet. It's probably going to get moved again. It keeps getting moved. This is my hostess warehouse, which I have a bunch of trucks for that I have put away for now to take with me to the show, along with all this here. So, and then this is my freight, the Burlington's freight house going in there. And in the back, you can still see the 3 tracks yard back here. I had told Sam earlier that I had a problem that caused me to stop working on the layout for a while because my fat belly wouldn't let me squeeze between the ductwork above and the layout itself to lay the track down that way. So I had to make a sandwich of plywood together to get the right height and put it all back together. And I could lay it in and just couple that up. So, and then we come down into the main section here, which is, this whole section was done back about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I don't remember now for certain. And it was after I took back over the game room downstairs and decided this is going to be my train layout. So you can see some of the buildings and such. Now, where all the majority of the stores are up ahead there, basically under the ductwork, that is a pop out so I can work in the back and do things along there. I have
nice.
A dealership. Excuse me. I was going to say I have a dealership. Nice. Oh, thank you. I have a dealership in honor of my dad who liked Chrysler Plymouth cars, so I made his dealership. And my first job was at the Dairy Queen, so I have the Dairy Queen. That's basically it on most of that. Now, this also, this track here, along with this track, may eventually go through this wall here, which is one of my modeling rooms that I have, and put a loop around and come back out again. I'm not certain if I'm going to do it for sure, but it's in my mind, in my plan stage. So we can go along on stuff like that. Sam, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask or anything offhand?
I just like seeing what you've done. It's still really cool. Johnny's messaging me. He says the link I'm giving him isn't working, and it worked for you, but it didn't work for him. How big is your basement to have all that stuff? Because it seems like it's pretty decently sized.
My basement isn't very big. My basement is quite small. This is the house I own is a Butler built house, which is the same people. Well, not the same people. A competitor to the Sears houses back in the 20s. This house was built in 1926.
Oh, yeah, really?
It's a little bungalow. So it really is. It's only 600 square feet. So, but I've managed to do a lot with it. Yeah, I've managed to do an awful lot. Yeah. So, but yeah,
well,
I said, hey,
that's cool.
Let me do this because my glass is glaring on my display cases, of course, because I just replaced all the lights in here, and I put in LED fluorescent lights now, LED style lights. So the forgive me for this kind of craziness, but I don't know any other way of doing this. It's not going to work. Leave it alone. But so I replaced all the original fluorescent lights with these LED panels, which are much closer to daylight, and they burn like 1/10 the amount of power. So, and that was kind of nice. And that's been the last 3 months, I guess, of what I've been doing, replacing lights and things of that nature too. So, but
well, it looks good though. I mean, the lights, any kind of light, especially a bright light, will help tremendous on a train layout.
Yeah, it was really amazing when in this room in particular, I had two fluorescent lights in here, and that was it. No track light along here or anything like that. And I lived with it. I mean, I didn't think much about it until I bought these two lights that are in here now. The 2x4 lights, and put them in, and I was like, oh my God, did that make a difference? So then I started looking for the rest of the lights to do the rest of the room. So, but
all right. Well, Johnny just now got in, so he's loading in now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's gonna have a lot more questions. I'm a train guy, but I'm mostly a car guy, so I don't know much to talk about with trains, but cars I understand.
You heard of that RT Tech out of? I think they're out of Poland. ARTITEC. ARTITEC. They do a lot of resin hand-built vehicles and railroad-oriented scenery material and such. Those little Fords that are on that flat car right here are all theirs. They come pre-weathered.
Oh, that's cool.
Only $19. Yeah, and then that's the one from Boss. That's the Boss version right beside it.
Wait, those Ford tractors are what?
Oh, RT Tech. They're called ARTITEC. If I remember
where
correctly.
Those Ford tractors come from? Hey,
yeah.
Greg, how are you?
I'm fine. John, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I had to join in.
I'm glad you can make it. The little Fords are from Tech. The big one with the cab on it is the Boss version.
It's the Boss version. Yeah, I wanted to get one of those Boss versions, but those other ones without the cabless ones, I've been trying to figure out where those come from.
It's Tech. Oh, it's right. Okay, let me think now. Where did I get these? Train World? No, not Train World.
Where do?
Oh, I got them from the guy in Maryland, down in Baltimore.
That guy. We all know that guy.
Train stuff.
That one guy, yes, that guy.
Train stuff. He just Klein, MB Klein's. He had it. Okay. He had them. He's out of stock with them now. He seems to get in and out of stuff real quick. But you can, if you want to pay the price, or if you know somebody that's over in Europe, you can get them. You can get them as a kit. They're $19, I think, $21 US, built up, weathered, and they're like $9 as a kit.
Right.
Okay. So if you know somebody, you can get them that way. That'd be the best way to grab it. So, but I don't know. You kind of missed the tour. I'll give you the tour. I'll give you the 5-cent tour again.
Well, if I would have been able to join, it would have been different.
No, that's cool. So, as I was, yeah, right, okay. I was telling Sam that the room I'm in was where I started my layout originally, which was under my front porch, and I started this in '94. I did a decent section of here. You can kind of see what's been done going around. Now, like I told Sam, I just added new lighting in here finally. I never had any valent lighting or anything. I still got to put the valences on the front of these lights. But this is where I started the layout. And it was a point-to-point. It was a switching light more than anything. And after our daughter stopped playing in the game room, I took the game room over a couple years after that and converted that into the other section of the layout, which now allows me to will allow me to make a complete loop. So, but here's something for you, John.
Wrecker.
Studebaker Wrecker.
Yeah. That's looking good.
Thank you, brother.
That's a Neo Cadillac, ain't it?
Yeah, that's Neo's. How about that?
A Barbie motorhome.
Hot Wheels motorhome.
I know that motorhome because I had to buy my daughter that Barbie motorhome. And then Hot Wheels comes out with their own version.
Well, I saw that. It makes absolutely no sense to really have one, right? But it's one of those things. It's like I just got to have one. no reason other than that. I just gotta have one. So, but anyway, so we go through the wall underneath this bridge here in the background, and it will come out right here, and then it goes under the little yard I have back there, and goes straight back. And then I have I have an unloading facility for auto racks. So most of these are my, well, other than a few atlases, these are all my castings that are on here. So some of them are a little beat up. I haven't finished doing them. I get kind of tired doing them, and I put them away. And I start doing some. You and
Mike Budd are really some inspirational guys with the auto racks. I'll tell you that.
Well, we try, you know. And then this is some of the models that I've done.
Here you go. Now, what era are you in? What
I really model the 70s. Okay. But I'll go back into the 60s. So I modeled the Burlington, which was the original railroad that I started with when I was a kid. And then right after I got into trains, it became Burlington Northern like 2 years later. So I went right into being Burlington Northern. But so
you started with the big red locomotives.
Oh yeah, I started with the Chinese red. Yeah, that's what I started with.
The merger with Great Northern.
Yep. Yeah. So I went and I followed Burlington Northern after that. And one of the interesting things I mentioned to Sam, when I turned how old was I? Yeah, I was 14, and I wrote a letter to Burlington Northern right after they merged. And asked them for information about the railroad because I didn't know nothing about it. My older brother was a train modeler, model railroader, and I kind of followed in his footsteps more or less. But I wanted to do the Burlington. He did Baltimore and Ohio, and so I wrote him a letter. And about 2 months later, I get this big manila envelope from them. No idea what the hell was in it. Open it up. It's a really nice letter from the Public Relations Department. They sent me 2 sets of drawings, painting diagrams, and a paint chip. Their drift card, to which I wish to God I kept them, but they asked me to return them after I was done with them, which I did like 2 or 3 months later, along with a bunch of news clippings and photographs and all that kind of stuff. And that really cemented my love for that railroad because I've never had anyone doing, take that kind of time to do it, So,
well, Greg, that's kind of funny that you mentioned that because when I started into the hobby, I started with the trains, and I found the vehicles, and because I'm a vehicle lover, I kind of shifted away from the trains. But I had a bunch of, I was into the Santa Fe. And I found out that they had merged and become BNSF. So I was looking back on the who they had merged with, and I found out that it was Burlington Northern. And I was like, hey, I remember seeing a few of those locomotives up here in the Detroit metro area because I was born basically down there, and my family's from the Detroit area. And, Conrail, GT, and you'd see the occasional Burlington Northern and Canadian National. But down there in Detroit, Conrail was king. But some of the locomotives that Conrail would have when they were coming into the Motor City, they would have a few Burlington Northerns on there. And it's like, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I really started getting into Burlington Northern, and I liked their color schemes and the executive color scheme that they had come out with. I thought they had some really nice colors, that green, white, and black, and
I always liked their scheme. I've always had good times with them. Every time I went to the yards or anything, I never had a hassle. They were always willing to help, willing to let us do whatever we wanted. I remember going to St. Paul with my brother-in-law at the time, and we were going in to get permission, and this young man come running across the walkway over the bridge over the tracks to the facility, and he stopped and started talking to us, and we walked all the way in, went on, and he was talking to us. He had just come back from Erie. He was being trained on the new locomotives that they were getting, So we're going down. We walk into the office. He turns to the clerk and says, "Get these guys signed releases. Send that to my office." The guy ended up being the assistant superintendent. So he ducks us. He takes us down,
awesome.
walks us down to his office, ducks us into the super's office, introduces us to him, and the superintendent looks at us. And at the time, we didn't put any safety stuff on because we didn't want to be presumptuous or anything like that. And the guy says, "Yeah, you can do everything." He says, "But do you have any hard-toe shoes or any hard shoes to wear?" Because we were in tennis. I said, "Yeah, we have our steel toes out in the car. We didn't want to come in, that way." And he says, "Oh, go ahead, guys. Go back, get your shoes on, have a good day." And we got to spend like the whole day in Northtown Yard in St. Paul, which was like a blast. A kid in candy store type thing. We could take anything we wanted. Just as he said, just don't be stupid. So
right.
But I
back in the good old days when you could do stuff like that.
Yeah, they weren't worrying about too many crazy things.
Now you go into the parking lot, they sit there and they wonder what the hell you're doing, and if you're trying to plan something, right. Or if you're a terrorist.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was trying to think of the other one. When I lived in Chicago, I had a neighbor who was a superintendent of the Santa Fe yard, Santa Fe locomotives up there, and he was funny because he just said to me one day when we were talking, he found out I was a motor railroader. He said, "Well, stop down and I'll get you some stuff." So he gave me a bunch of books and everything. But it was funny. He says, "Anytime you want to come in the yard, you just tell him I told you it was okay." And I used to go down that yard all the time and just run through the yard, take pictures and stuff like that. It was cool. I liked that back then. But times have changed, unfortunately. And up here now.
Burlington Northern. This is a BNSF locomotive right here, but this is this is the only one I have left. I have a few other locomotives, but this is from my collection of Santa Fe and BNSF stuff and Burlington Northern locomotives. There's a few locomotives I wish I would have kept. This locomotive is a Broadway, and it was bought brand new. It's only, I think it's just DCC.
Mm-hmm.
With sound. And when I bought it back in the day, I thought, man, that's expensive. But I saved up and bought this. And I thought I was King Tut when I bought it, And, I've moved around so much. And unfortunately, where I have my stuff, rainwater come in and... It was like the whole box that this sat in was just destroyed, but thankfully the locomotive didn't have any water in the styrofoam casing.
Well, that was good for you. Thank God.
The only one I have left. All my Athearn ones, my Proto 2000s, all of them gone. I have
my brother-in-law.
You guys will like this.
What's that?
Back in California. Back in California, I lived on this street that was a quarter of a mile from the Union Pacific and BNFS railway. They shared tracks, a quarter of a mile behind my house. Over each other, yeah. And the street I lived on was just a half a mile in length. So it was two major streets on either side with railroad crossings. There was trains going behind my house all day, 24/7, every 10 minutes. You heard the horn blow from that side of the house to this side of the house because they weren't going to let off the horn because it was too short of a distance for them to care.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So every 10 minutes for 24 hours a day, you heard those horns blowing.
Is that why you moved out of California, Sam?
Yeah. Somewhere where it's quiet.
Right. Yeah, now I'm 10 miles from a train track, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Now we understand why you can't hear anybody when we talk.
Yeah, really.
What? Who?
Hey, really? Yeah, I live up on the hill right overlooking the Allegheny River, right along I look right at the Pennsy-Conemaugh division line, which of course is NS, Conrail, and so on. But and I hear the same thing because they have a couple crossings, but they echo up and down the valley, which is kind of neat. So
that is kind of neat.
Yeah. Getting back to when you were saying, John, about finding the vehicles, that's what happened. I back in 12, I had some back surgery, caused me not to do a lot, and I was sitting around the house and started fussing with stuff. And that's how I started doing modeling, getting back in and modeling vehicles, because I got pissed after Fresh Cherries and Real Rides went out of business. And I'm like, man, I can use more of those vehicles. So I learned how to cast.
We all could have.
You know, yeah, that's what happens. And
yeah, all the good stuff they always take away from us. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's not, you know, good stuff is at a reasonable price. There's a lot of good stuff out there that's a little bit outrageous, but hell, you know.
Now
just
you
like
look at those Real Rides and those.
There's a lot of good stuff out there that's outrageous.
Yeah. Well, you know, but if you take into account, I mean, everybody's complaining about the new repeater costs of the new Chevys, but they're about in par with 30 years ago when we were buying freight cars at $10 and $9. You were buying cars at $2, $1.50. So it's not that far of a difference, really, when you think about it. You know. And back when we were buying those vehicles back then, there was hardly any detail. A lot of times you didn't get interiors, you didn't get paints on them. They were usually cast in plastic. Or if we did get painted, it looks like they dipped it in a buck of paint. You know, so you got to take into account all
Ravels, they didn't have any interiors.
No, a lot of this. I mean, you look at the lifelike Ford pickup and their Citation. Neither one of those. The Camaro and the AMC Javelin, they didn't have any interiors. Hell, they had blue glass. You know.
Right.
So
right.
we all got to look at things like that too, and we don't always think that way. You know, we automatically see the dollar and panic. You know. Now I just saw the ad from. Well,
I think now, because I mean, I'm a modeler, and you're a modeler. Johnny's a modeler.
Mm-hmm.
We can see those dollar cheap crap cars, and we can see that we can make them better.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit about being an actual modeler and not just a collector.
Yeah. Yep. Here, let me show you this. I started this back. I forget how many years back. Just a collection of vehicles that I wanted to have. At one point, I thought I'd do them all, but it got to the point it was getting way too expensive to keep collecting. So it was either collect or model, and I decided to model. Now that's all the micro whatever they were, micro cars.
Yep, the micro machines.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all the vets. And then for you, John, this is coffee prizes from Japan.
That's all the James Bond.
Yeah, it's a whole James Bond series from Japan. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this here, I'll pull this over here. That's the tumbler.
What?
It's not from Hot Wheels. That's HO. Yeah, hold on. Let me pull it out of here. That was it was a Kmart. I was walking through Kmart one day. You remember Kmart? They used to put all this crazy crap at the registers. You never knew what you were going to see at the register. This was a topper. It was an antenna topper.
Oh, wow.
Do you see it?
That's an antenna topper?
That was an antenna topper, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So
well, you had that in the Hot Wheels box. I was like, I didn't know Hot Wheels released that.
Well, you know, they did release it on 164th. But yeah, I walked by it 3 times when I was in the store, and I hawed and hemmed on it. And I thought, you know what? Hell with it, I'm going to buy it. It was like $3, I think. Something, not expensive. I thought, I'm going to buy it just for the hell of it. I'm going to check it. So I took it home and I put it next to a Humvee. And it scaled out the same. Well, it's based on the Humvee. It was based on the original Hummer. Okay. That's what this vehicle was based on. The chassis is a Hummer modified. So, and it fits the same size. So I said, well, it's got to be close, if not dead on. So,
That's what's great about this hobby too. Is when you've been in it long enough, you can look at a toy, and you can
Yep.
see that in your eye that it, for the most part, might resemble the same scale. That's what I did with this Star Wars flyer that Hot Wheels makes, and you can pick them up from any Walmart or Kmart or whatever that is around you. It's probably not exact 187 scale, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
You put a figurine, next to it, and he could literally sit in that cockpit with no issue.
I've showed
So
you these.
it's pretty darn close to 187 scale.
Then I found this.
What in the hell is that? Speed Racer?
Oh, that's the
That's the
Batman.
Bat scooter.
The Batman scooter.
That's the Bat scooter. Yeah. Did I lose you again, brother?
From I think Jada. I think Jada makes that.
Yeah, that was it. Remember I told you about that 3-pack they had? They had 3 different vehicles.
Because they make the DeLorean one. They make G.I. Joe ones. They make quite a few of them.
Yeah, they make like a lot of the movie ones. So, and then this.
Yeah, they make the Harry Potter 3-story bus and that blue car.
Yeah, that's the Batman. That's from Playmobil. Or not Playmobil. Mantis? I forget who it was now. Or Hasbro. Hasbro made these play sets. And they did Batman and Robin. And they did Mr. Freeze. So, I don't know how good I am at showing these off, but I apologize if they're not doing as well as they should be. But there's Mr. Freeze. And then here's Robin. And it was one of those deals where I saw them, and I'm going to pick them up just for the hell of it, Same routine. So
yeah, that was the best thing you could have done.
Well, yeah. I mean, I
because you're not finding those anymore.
It was a shot in the dark. I'm telling you. I never thought in a million years that. And then when I brought them home and I put them next to a figure, and went, God damn, they are, So
right.
But
well,
yeah. I mean,
you find a lot of that stuff. I mean, I found the Back to the Future clock tower, and that was a Funko Pop 2 set. So you get the Funko Pop and that building. And I thought that building looks very close to HO scale. And you look at the figurine there, and that's a HO scale figurine, and he fits perfect for that building.
Yeah, exactly.
So that goes to show you just gotta have the eye for certain things, and if it's cheap enough to look into, buy it and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then sell it or do something else with it. Yeah,
that's exactly it. I mean, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I used to be really anal about it. I mean, I'd go into toys. Of course, now there aren't many toy stores left other than Walmart, which is useless to me. Though I do pick up occasional Matchboxes there. So, but speaking of Matchbox, here's one more for you, John.
Yep, the BP Wrecker.
That's HO.
Oh, you got that in H? You shrink that? That's the one you shrink down?
That's the one I shrunk. Yeah.
Wow.
I had to. I've always liked that little vehicle from being a little kid, but it was a bitch to shrink.
So you've gotten pretty good at shrinking there, huh?
Yeah, not bad. I get into it. Some days I get better than others. My best, I think, is that Chevy.
Well, that's how John Tyson does all his cars.
Yeah,
John Tyson shrinks all his cars. He's gotten pretty good at it too.
Yeah, he's far better than I am at it. But he's a lot more stricter than me. So there's the
right.
A little dusty right now, but there's the 4-door version of the Caprice I did. So I got to get that finished.
Greg, I got to ask you, weren't you selling some of these off of eBay or? Yeah,
I do sell a little bit. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was going that well, so I kind of backed off of it.
Right.
But if people want them, I can sell them. I don't know.
For everybody listening, I'm going to put the link to your page in the description so they can all hit you up if they don't have you as a friend anyways.
Yeah. Here's another one for you, John. Here's another one for you. I'll put this up here so you can see it.
Nice. Is that Mike Hunt's casting?
No.
Or is that the one you did?
That's mine. That's the one from the I took my 70 GMC cab that I did years, and I took that's the Lindbergh nose from the dump truck, and I put the two together, and that's the casting I come up with. So, but
between you and Mike and you guys getting all this creative stuff and bringing out these vehicles from the 70s that are just killer, it's like it's hard to tell whose is whose anymore.
That's nice to hear. I just it's a deal where I get in a mood for something, not necessarily whatever. It's I'll see something, and I'll think, you know what, I want that. I want to do something with it, whatever, and then I'll just start playing with it to get where I'm at. So that's what happened with the Ford 700 I did. What's that?
Sam? Greg?
Yeah.
Did I lose you guys?
We hear you.
We hear you.
Oh, shoot.
Do you hear us?
Can you hear us? Hello. I did what I did.
We see you.
Oh, you see us? You see him?
Yeah, I see you.
I see him. Oh, okay. There you go.
There you go.
Well, we hear you and we see you, so.
Well, I don't see him on my side.
I was going to say, I do the same thing. If you look at like those Back to the Future cars, I built one Back to the Future car and said, I got to build the rest of them. So I started building everything I can think of for the Back to the Future. And so it's like the same thing, like the lowrider cars. I build one lowrider car and then I get that bug. I got to keep building them.
Hey, Sam, you know whose car you got to build? Biff's future car.
Biff's?
Oh, yeah, that Mustang. I need to build that. I have a Mustang, but it's one of those really rare kits I don't want to cannibalize.
I didn't think that was a Mustang. I believe that it was
a Mustang.
BMW that was in the Back to the Future movie. Can you hear me?
Okay, now you got me thinking. Maybe it is a BMW, but I thought it was an 80s style Mustang.
80s
because
style
that
Mustang.
movie set in the future set in 2015, but they made the movie in 1989 or something.
Yeah.
It could be
go back and you look at
I thought it was a Mustang though.
If you look it
I'm
up,
gonna look at it right
I
now.
believe it's a BMW.
He's pulling it up. Because I would say there was no the 80s Mustangs would have been on a Fox body.
Yeah.
Which
it is a BMW. It's a BMW 633 CSI.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think it was a Mustang?
Because you don't know your vehicle, Sam.
My brain is sometimes not always thinking right.
You're not a Ford fan like this guy right here.
Yeah,
right.
A little bit. Hey, check out.
So
check
for
out
everybody wanting to see what the heck this is, that's the car, and that's a BMW. Go figure.
Close enough though to a daring Mustang, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's got four wheels. It's got four wheels.
Show that monkey car again.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't see you, Greg.
I lose you? You can't see the car.
There you are.
That's the monkey mobile.
Yup.
Now, Sam, your wish will be granted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What's the wish?
I'll show you in a second.
I told him I wanted one.
I destroyed the original mold.
As soon as he made the first mold, I said, Greg, I have to have one. You have to make me one. And he said, I'm not making any more of them.
I got two castings out of it. and the mold got destroyed. Which was fine because after I built that and I started doing some more research, I found a lot of problems with it. So, but here you go, Sam.
Oh, you're making another one?
Yeah, I'm making a whole new mold for it. I upgraded it. It's now got the fuel filter. It's got the gas cap on it. I actually put the exhaust pipes were separate castings originally, so I put them all on there. I added the center support that's in there. So eventually I'll get it done. I just got my rubber molds in today. My rubber material came in finally. So about another week or so, I should have that put together. I redid the whole nose because that was all separate pieces.
Awesome.
So yeah, it'll look a lot nicer. I mean, I like this one. I got decals for it too. I made. I had to put them on.
Greg, what the hell do you have? A maze?
Huh?
Is your
maze
workshop and layout?
Oh, I have 4 workshops.
You're walking.
I have
in this
4.
room, walking up. Holy cow!
I have 4. In the front sun porch is a paint department. Molding and casting is right past the door underneath where I showed you where it came through the new wall. Then I have a secretary desk right across from the city. And then the room I just went into is actually my major modeling building. That's where the computer is, my printers, and all that.
Oh, you got 3D printers?
I have a 3D printer that I'm trying to learn how to use, but I do all my own decals and stuff like that because I have an Alps printer that I've always had.
Right.
So that's why when I see stuff I want, I can make right away. So unless it's some like I couldn't do for some reason I could not figure out how to do the REA tractor trailer decals that I had Bonzer do those for me because it just drove me nuts. I could not get the arrow the way I wanted it. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to pay for somebody to have them do it and do it right. So, but so I sent it out to Bill and he took care of it for me. But yeah, so I do have several locations and they're all a mess because I'm always doing something in them. And the one actually across from the city is more or less the one to work on the layout. So it's got all kinds of stuff that I'm doing when I'm working on it. I might have pieces of track or maybe scenery stuff, whatever. So, but the molding one right now is really a royal disaster. I'll show you, and you can get a sneak peek of what's coming. Being a Ford guy, you'll probably appreciate these.
Oh, those are all your castings?
Well, some of the castings.
Or
Most of
those
it-
the masters?
These are the masters right here that you saw in the clear boxes. The castings are in the back. The master actually just saw was the one. The crew cab is the Ford 73 Ford that Atlas did. I turned it into a crew cab.
Mm-hmm.
The red Impala Caprice was the Matchbox one, and then I did the Dodge. This was the Dodge, if I remember correctly. Step van, the new one that Sam asked me to do the one time. He sent me had me do that. So, but yeah, I have all kinds of crap here that I'm working on. So I have that. I have these are getting ready. I'll show those. The 72 Roadrunner and the 70 and the 70 wagon, Plymouth wagon.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's not a 70. 70 maybe. I forget now. But yeah. Well, what happens is I start doing stuff and then I'll build them and I'll put them off to the side until I get around to get around to molding them and such like that. And I get in the mood. I got so many molds I had to start bagging them and tagging them. I feel like I'm at the morgue because I got so many boxes filled with molds, and then I forget where some of them are, and it takes me an hour or two to dig through them to find what I want. It drives myself nuts, even though I write on the bags what they are. So
your camera went off again.
Oh,
Greg.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Here, oh, there it
There
is.
you are.
It just must have paused or something, because it just went down. So, but I was saying that I just have so many that I make them and I put them to the side. You know, whatever kind of suits my fancy for right now. And plus stuff I'm trying to figure out how I want to do. You know, I have this Dodge I'm going to probably get rid of because it's too new for me. Dodge Wrecker. So I'm gonna put it out there. If anybody wants it, let me know. But,
Well, what do you want for it?
I don't know.
Sam, you taking this?
No. Why would I take a wrecker?
Why would you take a wrecker?
It is a scratch built Erdl dually with a scratch built wrecker body. So I don't even know why I did it, because it's too far new for me.
Yeah, I don't need that.
It's just one of those kind of things that I just wanted to do for some stupid reason.
Sam, you do need it because, you need a way to get those heaps of junk to your shop so you can customize them, I'm thinking about...
I've already got cars. I've already got my RPS slam dually with the flatbed
and stuff like that. You need a way to tow them into the shop.
Here you go, John. 78.
I'm checking out that Ford N.
Oh, my NT.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'm sorry, Greg.
I actually did another. I did the other version. I did the diesel version, but I don't have any of those up. I don't know where the hell it's at right now. It's probably in the box for St. Louis.
And I love that dealership.
You like my old dealership? Oh, you got to see the big one.
And that official pace truck.
Yeah, that's the 79 pace truck. I have the pace car somewhere, but for whatever, I cannot find it.
Greg, if I told you there was an old man that had that truck, that model, he had the real version of it, with just letting it sit in the field and just waste away.
Right. I believe it.
Vandals come and destroyed it. He hauled it off the crap. It was like you couldn't talk him out of that truck.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you there. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. That was I forget whose actual diecast that was. I shrunk it down, and then I was on the internet, and I ran across this guy who made decals for 1/64th. So I sent him an email. He did 1/25th and 1/64th of that pace truck decals. So I sent him an email and asked him, "Can you shrink these down to HO scale?" I'm trying to find it. There we go. And he said, "Yeah, sure." So he sent me a whole sheet, and then I had him do all the different colors for the sides too. So that's why you can see the green one.
Yeah,
it's a lime green. So, and then I have the white one around here somewhere. There's the white one over here. But yeah, I got a whole sheet of black, white, blue, silver, green, red. I think yellow too. I can't remember all the colors I had him do. I had like 8 colors or something he did for me. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's one of those deals. Decided I wanted it and I had it done. So, but anyway.
Well, I've got some good news.
Oh, okay.
My good news is there's a possibility I might end up going to the RPM.
St. Louis.
So if
cool.
if everything falls together, I'll be out there. I just got to get it to fall together, right?
I'm going to try and get out there. I want to definitely come out and meet you guys, especially when I hear who's going. So, I would like to.
I told Mike the other day. I sent him an email, said, "Hey, I already booked the hotel room. The wife and I are coming out, so we'll be out early." so he knows we're coming.
I don't even want to book a hotel room. I want to bunk with somebody. Or I want somebody to open up a spare room in their house to let me stay. Because I'm trying to get out there as cheap as absolutely possible.
I hear you.
We'll see.
I hear you there.
We'll see if
Here's
that
one more
happens
for you. I haven't gotten any further with this. I know what I want to do with it. I'm going to turn this into the Polar Water Truck.
A what truck?
Polar Water. Bottled water truck.
Mm-hmm.
A company called Polar Water from the 70s. They had all these little. They didn't have the real big trucks back then. They had these small versions. So, and that's the Ford I did too. Again, it turned out nice. I like it. So,
that's good, Greg. That's good.
Yeah, screw on. So, but yeah, I don't know. You guys got questions or anything? John, you have any questions for me?
Well, I know listening to the What's Neat this week with Mike on it all the time, he's always showing a truck he built off of one of your resin castings, and he gloats about you all the time. So you got one of the biggest fans on one of the biggest venues to let people know about you just off of that weekly podcast.
Mike and I do a lot of stuff, back and forth with each other. He does things for me, and like I'll do something, and he'll want to modify it to do something else with it, and then I'll ship it out to him. And then he'll send it back to me as a modified, so I can cast it and things like that. So, and that's one of the things we did. That I'm going to slaughter the gentleman's name.
It helps too that you build the same time frame.
Yeah, it does, very much so. We're very, very close in time. And plus the fact is he does General Motors most of the time. I do Ford, Chrysler. I do all the other guys. He likes to do the Chevys and GM. So it makes it even nicer that way too. Yeah.
Between you guys,
that way you can swap the vehicles. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And every once in a while I'll run across something that's like I did with the G20 van. I was dying to do one, and I bought that Halfass. I'm going to slaughter that Japanese name. Hasu, something like that. I forget the name of it. But it was that G20 van is theirs. I shrunk it down. They did it as a flat kit. I assembled it and then shrunk it, and then I sent it to Mike because Mike wanted to do some other things with it and put his grill on it, so that we could do the Chevy and the GMC, or the GMC, and whichever way it was, I don't remember now. So we did that, and what was his name? I can't think of the gentleman's name. He just did a bunch of bread trucks with my van. He just posted them. They turned out really nice. I was really, really surprised how pretty they looked. So
I did an interview with that guy, and I already forgot his name.
I can't think of his name. It's not to be nasty.
Damn, you forget my name, so I guess there's nothing
Who are you?
to really worry about.
Who are you?
Greg.
Exactly.
Nice.
Who are you? Hey, you left it open. I took it. So, but yeah, so that's the layout for the most part, and some of the things I'm working on. I got a lot more coming. Hopefully, I'll have a bunch of newer things that I'm going to surprise everybody with in St. Louis. Everything goes well. So,
well, I'll tell you the truth, Greg. Because you guys are modeling the 70s. I mean, I see your trucks, which you got the GM trucks and stuff like that. By the way, that what is that kit? Ouch! Dang it!
Which kit?
What is that kit? I got it right here. Showcase miniatures. This right here.
Oh yeah.
9500.
That's a gorgeous kit. I have it too.
I'm afraid to build this damn thing, and then I see that they come out with the newer versions. I'm like, oh hell yeah! But because of you guys, it's like I'm into like all. I look at 60s and 70s trucks now.
Brian Donato did that wrecker. Oh, that thing was gorgeous. I don't know if you remember when he did his.
Yes, he's a talented modeler.
It made me intimidated a little bit about that. because I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do it because he did such a great job on that. I'm afraid I'm going to ruin it. You know?
Well, speaking of that company, I contacted them, and sometime this summer we're going to do a podcast episode.
Cool.
Me and them talking about their products. So that'll be cool.
That's cool.
That's pretty
they
cool,
need to have
man.
some publicity.
Yeah.
You know, they need to have some publicity. So I'm all for that. Get these guys some publicity because the more we get them, their sales up, the better the chances are we're going to get stuff we want and need. You know?
Right. Exactly.
Well, that's like Rapido. I didn't know Rapido was going to get into the HO scale vehicles as the cars. I mean, they got into the buses, but I didn't think that they were going to do the cars. And it's like with the Chevy Caprices that are coming out, I got to say, I hope that they're going to be doing more.
You got to remember, Jason's a 1980s modeler. He models the 80s. So you're going to probably see a lot of cars from the 80s from him.
Who is this again?
Jason, the guy started the company and was president. I don't know what he is now.
So you're telling me that between you, Mike Budd, and John Tyson, I don't have to worry about the 70s. And with this guy at Rapido, he could release some of the.
Probably won't have to worry about the 80s either. No, you probably won't have to worry about the 80s.
But he's the
right.
90s then, the forgotten 90s.
Well, hey, you know what? Let's get the 70s done because the 60s and the 70s really, because they never did those. They always stopped at 60. There were no vehicles made after 60 for too many decades.
Mad About Cars is trying his best at doing everything for 70s. It's taken a while, but he's trying.
All the way along. I mean, not just 70s. He is doing all the years.
Every year. Yeah, and every make and model of every year.
And the thing is with the prices of 3D printing, is it worth it? Is it not? That's the biggest thing. And with the technology, and it just keeps advancing and going more and more, it's like, do I buy one now or do I wait a little bit longer?
Here's the deal. In another 10 years, not even that probably, because they're really dropping fast, 3D printers are going to be just like a regular printer.
Right.
You're going to pick up a regular printer. You're going to pick up a 3D printer that can do what you want to do for $50 or $100 max.
Right.
The only thing it's going to cost you is your resin. Okay. And they're going to make them so damn simple that anybody can do anything they want with them. I mean, they
better make it quick because I'm trying to get there.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I'm on the 3D railroad group, printing group, and these guys are printing full freight cars. You know,
right?
It's just unbelievable some of the stuff that they're pulling. Freight cars, locomotives. I mean, European guys are decades ahead of us in what they're producing.
Yeah,
on 3D printing. They're just
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
About the European guys, they got models of American vehicles that we don't even have, and it's like, how in the hell do you?
Well, it's with the. I've tried to get in contact. There's a bunch of guys over there that I've dealt with a little bit, not unfortunately enough to have good contact with. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was for a while when Peter Riggs, God bless his soul, who passed away on us. I was in contact with him. I was getting everything. Every time something, not Peter Riggs, he's still around. Not Peter. Sorry, Peter. Oh, God bless him. He had Dutch art models, and he sold Peter's stuff, but he sold a bunch of other brands too. And I used to be able to get stuff from him. And Core. His first name was Core. Can't think of his last name now. Van something. But yeah, you need to meet somebody over there. You can get somebody overseas that can pick up stuff like that, because those guys, you know, one guy will make a car and he'll do 100 of them and that's it, and they're done. You know, I picked up the '79 Ranchero that way. The guy did it, and somebody told me who to contact. It was a hobby shop, actually. I was able to call them at like 2:00 in the morning and said, "Hey, do you have it?" And the guy says, "Yeah, I have one." I says, I'm going on site, give you the PayPal and all the information. I want it. So, but I got boxes on boxes of stuff from I even got Joe D'Elia's stuff. Not Joe. Joe, he's in Chicago. He was doing shrink stuff too.
Joe Fay?
Yeah. I got a bunch of his stuff in boxes that I got from back in this, 2013, 2014, something like that. His hydro shrinks that he was doing. And the technology has changed so much now. It's ridiculous.
Does he even do that anymore or no? Did he get out?
I don't know if he does or doesn't, to be honest with you. I know he's still out there because he pops up on sites every once in a while. So he'll make a comment.
When I got into this hobby, like I was telling somebody else, I started when I was 16 years old. And that's where I started with the trains. But I started collecting vehicles. Somewhere in this mass quantity of stuff I have, there's the first truck, HO truck I ever bought. And then from that one truck, it led to
everything else.
An entire room.
I hear you. Yeah, well, the thing too is, we were talking about Rapido a minute ago, is that he's the first company, for the most part, that is going to produce a family of cars. Mm-hmm. The only other one that I could think of that came close to that was when Revell did the Chryslers back in the early 60s.
Right. That
was it. No one else has ever really done a family of vehicles. They did one or maybe two vehicles out of that line, and that's it.
Right.
But they're going to do...
Which is a shame, too.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like they're going to do the mom and pop vehicles. They're going to do the family. I don't know whether they're going to do the sports cars on them, too, but they're willing to do more than just one so that we get the variety that we really need. Well, and that's one of the other reasons what got me started casting, because when who was it? Fresh Cherries had the Pinto and had the Mercury. I looked at those and said, well, wait a minute, I can do the front clip off of both of those will give me two more vehicles. It'll give me the fastback and the fastback Pinto, the 3-door, and the wagon in the Bobcat by just flipping those two clips. So now I got 4 vehicles instead of just 2, and then modifying them a little bit more gave me the station wagons. So I had the whole line. The only thing I didn't have, but I never did, was the notch that they did, which didn't sell well. I had that goofy looking short windowed Pinto notch type thing. So, and everything I try to do, I want to do that way. So I have the Caprice right now. I have the 4-door, I have the 2-door. Eventually I'll work on doing a wagon. So I'll have all 3 versions of that.
Right.
Nice. You sound like Mike, buddy.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to do it. Let's just put it that way. And that goes with the pickup. My 4 pickups were the same way. I did every variation on those. Even when I did them originally with the Lindbergh, or with the Lifelike. I had all the variations.
That's what my vehicle was the Lifelike Ford, that 4-door truck that I did, which I still never finished up. I put it in the display case, and that's what it's at since.
Yeah, well, because when I started, because I wanted a truckload of those, or not truckload, auto rack load, which meant I had to have all the variations, or at least the majority of them. The only thing I never really got into doing so much was the step side, which I did later on, long time after, 5-6 years later. But all the other ones I did. I mean, I had the straight cab, I had the crew cab, the club cab, the 6-foot, the 8-foot bed, plus I did 1 or 2 stake beds or something like that. So, but that's what, if I'm going to do a model that's going to have a family, I'm going to do the variations just to have on the layout. Plus, if I want to do an auto load, not all the time do I want to do auto loads either, but it's nice to have the variations.
What I'd like to do is it's an 80s vehicle. I mean, Atlas gave it to us. They gave us the first generation Ford Explorer.
Oh yeah.
And it's but that Explorer could be backdated to the original Ranger pickup truck.
Really?
Right.
Really?
And it's and then you got the Bronco 2, which when the Explorer was first introduced, the SUV Explorer,
Yeah.
It was the replacement for the Bronco 2, but they actually had the Ranger, the Bronco 2, and the Explorer, like back there in the early 90s, where they all had the same grill.
Well, what's interesting, when I was working on doing this, the 150, the new one, I overshrunk it. I overshrunk it, and it's about the size of the Ranger. And I kept looking at it, and I didn't realize it until I rescaled it. And Bill Sturgis out in Indiana sent me, I don't know where he got them, but he sent me the cab drawings for the F-150. So I have all the full drawings of the cab itself. So I have the dimensions for all 3 cabs. And when I got those drawings and I scaled it out, I realized it was too small. But I was looking at it saying, man, that almost looks like the small Ford that they used to have. But I could not find any photos.
What F-150 did you shrink down?
Johnny Lightning's, I think it was. That's the one you saw that has the pace colors on it, pace car colors.
Oh, okay.
That one. When I first shrunk it, I overshrunk it.
Oh, okay.
I was in my third stage, and I forgot which amount I needed to make the adjustment on, and I overdid it, and it shrunk it down. Like I said, pretty close to the compact pickup, the Ranger pickup. And I was like, I kept looking at that, saying, man, that looks awfully small. And I kept thinking it looks like it, but I don't have specs on it, so I couldn't spec it out to see if it's done too. So,
well, the only reason I brought that up was because that's the only. I actually currently right now own a '94 Ford Explorer, and I have only one Explorer here. This one right here.
Okay.
And it's like, the thing is I just keep looking at this going, yeah, you could do the Ranger pickup truck out of this. And it's, what was it, 2013? Yeah, before I moved to New Hampshire, I had a 91 Ford Ranger pickup truck, and it had the same front end as my 94 Explorer. And a buddy of mine, when I had the 91 Ranger, he had the little Bronco 2. I believe his was an 89 or 90 Bronco 2.
Okay.
And it had the same front end.
It's interesting because you're saying that. I'm thinking back to somebody did, I think it was, they took the Bush, was that the Blazer?
Yeah.
And they made the pickup out of it. Yeah, they made the pickup out of it, which I always thought was really cool. And I was like, man, but it was too, for me, it didn't matter because it was too new. So I just left it, but yeah.
Well, if you're doing 70s, the Ranger would have, before the precursor of the Ranger, it would have been the foreign job that they would have called the Ford Carrier.
The Courier, it was a Courier,
I believe that was a Mazda pickup truck that they used.
I think it was a Mazda back then because they were in bed with each other at that time. Yeah.
They're still, I thought that they were still pretty much, because I believe that this new Ranger that everybody's going crazy over, and everybody's like, I'm the cool kid now because look, I got a little Ranger pickup truck.
What's old again is new again is old,
But
that old was.
I'll get one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I keep looking for different things to do. Just some of the stuff I've done was just for the hell of it. It's like a Dodge Wrecker I did, the Matchbox one. I don't know. The one day I'm sitting there saying, I really, really like that Wrecker. No one has it.
It's funny that you scaled that down, because I always thought that cab was pretty darn close to 187 scale there, Greg.
Yeah, and, so did I.
Seeing that the way you painted it and everything like that, I couldn't tell that was scaled down. So,
well, that was part of that was one. That was one of the reasons why I painted it that way.
That's good. Good deceiver right there.
Because I figured everybody would say, wait a minute, that's the Matchbox. That's too big. And it's like, no, that's scale. That always bugged me because both that one and the dump version.
Could I do something, though, to you, Greg?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little birdie in your ear, okay?
Here we go.
You've got the cab to scale. Now you just need to rework that front end for the pickup truck and do the bed sides.
I have the pickup truck done. I cut the louvers, the extensions on the bottom of the body. And raised the bumper up to where it belongs on the grill. The only thing I didn't do right, and I misunderstood who was telling me before about the flare, and that was Rich Olson, I think, was telling me that the wheel flare was too big. And I didn't understand him, so I cut the opening too big. So I have to go back and redo that and shave some of the flare off of the side of the body.
Now, Matchbox
the wheel opening stays the same.
Recently released another Dodge pickup truck.
Whom?
I think he said Matchbox.
Yes, the crew cab. The crew cab. The 4x4 crew cab. Yeah, it's the 4x4 crew cab. That's a gorgeous casting, too. That is a gorgeous casting. That may be what I will work on. Because I have it. I have a box, Sam. If you know what an orange box looks like, by chance, it's about 30 inches long by about 15 or so inches wide by about almost 2 feet deep, and there's nothing but 1/64th vehicles in it to be cast, to be shrunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're from everybody. I mean, as soon as something comes out that I look at, and some of them have already been done now in HO, but I still may want to do them anyway. Do something a little different with them. But I just keep putting them in the box, as I find them.
Well, Greg, I know this is too new for you, but I bought this Chevy pickup truck. I
didn't see that one. Oh, that's the Matchbox, yeah, Chevy. I thought you were going for the Dodge.
I am. I have it right here, the 4-door one.
Yeah.
There's the box, but it's like, thing is it's a 4-door, and it's like, but these trucks were mostly probably sold as regular cabs. I think this was before they even come out with that extended cab.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I was looking back at Ford's. Ford had an extended cab back to like 68 or something. Which I was surprised. Really? I didn't realize they had them back that far. They didn't have the crew cab. They had the crew cab, not the club cab, which I thought was strange.
Yeah, I had a 68 Ford crew cab. It had barn had fallen down on it, crushed the cab. Ooh. So I bought the truck, and the reason why I bought the truck was it had a brand new front clip sitting right inside the bed. And I'm like, hey, and nobody wanted the truck. I saw the fenders and the stuff sitting inside the box, so I bid on it, and that guy was bidding on it, and I bought it for $200.
Wow. Yeah, you can still pick up a cab for it.
And no, the guy that it ended up getting sold, he bought it. He wanted just the frame, the cab, because it had been crushed by the barn. It just was left outside to the elements, and it was just wasted. But the frame was still good, and the guy that bought it had a crew cab, and he goes, I need the frame. So It worked out perfect, and I made money off of it. And
yeah, that's the name of the game, man.
There was parts on that truck where other Ford guys were like, hey, I need the ashtray. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. And it was just like, here you go.
Yeah. Well, that's when you can get lucky. You pick up something like that,
Yeah, I was surprised on how much actually got taken off of that truck.
Yeah, I was telling Sam I have a box sitting in the train room in my front room, under the porch. That's a citrus box. That's about 30 inches by 18 inches by 2 feet, somewhere in that range. I don't know exact size offhand. but it's filled with nothing but 1/64 die cast. Just for playing shrinks. Stuff that I've seen. I said I want that because I'm going to shrink that. You know, and I go through that box and I pull out a couple at a time and work them down. So.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm always looking.
It's always interesting to see what you're going to come out with. And then it's like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want 5 million foreign vehicles on my layout.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's what it boils down to. I mean, it's nothing against the foreign vehicles. It's just it wasn't that time. 80s and 90s, and now, yeah, that's fine. But back then, you had big boats. You
don't want a drawer full like this right here.
You don't want me to do that, Samuel. I promise you. Sam, you saw the wall.
Do it.
Wait a minute.
That was me. That's my collection. And
John,
that's only one drawer.
John.
Holy.
That's just a teeny little bit. That's just a teeny little bit.
I'm coming to your house, Greg.
That's castings.
Oh, man. Sam, you want to take a trip? We're going to have to bring a U-Haul.
No, just bring it to the RPM meet. I'll take it off your hands there.
That's castings. Now, if you want to go to the rest of the kind of stuff, and you're saying drawers,
okay, that's it. You win.
That's a matchbox.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, you got the same problem I do. Overstuffed drawers. Ooh, what's all goodies in there?
All kinds of neat little stuff. Stuff I started and decided I don't feel like finishing.
That's everybody.
And that don't include the other 10 drawers that are buried behind boxes. Plus, stuff like this.
Wow.
Yeah, I got it scattered everywhere.
Greg, you'll have to send me your address. I'm going to have to come and investigate, you know.
You might get lost.
Hey,
you know?
That might be a good thing.
Yeah, it could be. Well, my wife would be really happy. You know, everything, all these cabinets that I have. Well, not really. These are all my books. These are some of the books. That cabinet's got trains in it. These two are cabinets of nothing but books and reading material. These got nothing but trains in it.
Wow.
This is the mess room, and that's
Greg, how long have you been collecting for?
Since 1969.
1969.
Jeez.
Yeah. Sam, is that older than you?
By
I started
10 years.
collecting I started collecting when I was 13 years old. When I got into the hobby.
Wow.
And so a lot of stuff I gotten rid of over time. Because at times I needed money. Put it plain and simple. We all go that route. Right. And you know, and my wants that I had changed. You know, so I got out of some things and all that. Like I was telling Sam earlier, I started collecting recently over the last 4 years, maybe 3 years, collecting old Plasticville. And here's one of my favorites right now.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
I have about 5 of them in 3 different colors or 4 different colors.
Right.
I forgot that every year that Bachman released those for Christmas, they changed the color. All their buildings got changed. All their houses and all that. all the original ones, which was like the Ranch, the Cape Cod. The construction one didn't change, but the regular version did. But all those houses, for the most part, changed colors.
Huh.
Which I didn't realize, so I started looking at them. And I'm like, well, heck, I can make a small little town out of those little houses. They'll fit real nice in the layout. They're not the big ones that we all have. So I started looking for those and picking them up to put on a layout. The only problem with them is, like I told Sam, I'm trying to find a spot that I stay in light. There we go. Like I told Sam, was that the ranch house is probably 1/8 inch scale, not 1/87 scale, because I stuck a regular car in and it sticks out the garage door. You can't put a full size car in it; it won't fit.
Right.
So I was like, but I'll park it out front. So, but I just do all that stuff, So, anyway, that's what's going on over in this world of mine. There'll be more things to come out different. I got some freight cars I'm working on. I still got to work on that international Cargo Star truckload or flat car load I've been playing with for almost a year now. I gotta get that finished for the show. I'll be bringing that up there. A couple other flat car loads will be done with some other odds and ends. So stay tuned. Things will be more interesting the rest of the year.
And you didn't give me a price on that Dodge?
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg. Oh.
The Dodge?
Yeah.
35.
35?
Yeah.
Do you take PayPal?
Yes, I do.
All right. I'll message you later.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
All right.
Do you take IOUs?
Yeah.
How about the honor system? I'll pay
Here we
you
go.
some other day for you just give it to me now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I hear you. So, hey, I'm gonna.
Well, Greg, I tell you what, man, you've been you doing good, and I just say keep up the good work because you're helping out a lot of people that don't have these castings or don't have a way to get them, and you're providing that window or that door for the opportunity for them to do it.
Thank you, sir. I'm trying. That's all I can do.
yes. And what Sam said, that absolutely hits the head. You guys, growing up, I mean, there were 70s and 80s vehicles still, I can remember from my childhood that people were just driving around every day. In fact, some of them I even rode in, like those station wagons. I remember sitting looking out the back window, in the back of a station wagon. And it's like vehicles that don't exist anymore here in this hobby. We could still have them and go, hey, that was how life was back then.
I remember that car. Exactly. That's kind of the way I look at it. I want things that I remember when I was a kid that I saw all the time. I have a buddy of mine here in Pittsburgh that builds a lot of truck models, and his dad was a trucker, and he worked for Roadway. And that's all we talk about. He's always trying to find photos of the trucks that he remembers when his dad took him in a truck, or he would go places with his dad and he'd see all these different truckers, and,
right.
And he wants those trucks. So, and that's what he does. That's how he builds. He's a model railroader, but he builds trucks. He just loves to build his trucks. Nothing wrong with it. Him and I both go round and round about it all the time over new stuff and wishing we could find one and and then when we do find something, we're both going nuts over it. So,
aren't we all?
Yeah.
Well, I also want to say that the parts of your layout that you have, for the most part, done that look pretty presentable, looks pretty good. I mean, I don't have a model railroad myself, but the fact that you do and some of it works or all of it works and you got some of it done or it looks to be done, That's more than I've got. So hats off to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it just keeps me out of trouble. You know, unfortunately, as my mother always used to tell me, I don't spend it on beer. I spend it on my toys.
Right.
I can get
Probably a lot
downstairs and look
healthier
at
that
it a
way.
lot more. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys. I guess this will call it a night, huh?
All
Yeah,
righty.
that works.
Well, Greg, you have
Thanks,
a great
Greg.
day.
Thanks, Guy. Be well, be
Thanks,
safe.
Johnny.
Hopefully, we'll
Yeah,
see you up in
Sam.
St. Louis. John,
Yeah,
send me an email.
hopefully.
Will do.
All right, brother. Catch you guys later. Be well.
Catch you later.
All right, everybody. See you later.
See you later.
See you later.
All right, everybody. That was Greg Dixon and Johnny MacIntosh. It was an interesting conversation. I'm glad Johnny came in because I'll tell you what, like I kind of said I think I said in the monologue, I'm not all that much of a train guy. So I didn't really know what to say, what to ask. And I'm glad Johnny was there because he was able to fill in a lot of the gaps that I was blanking on. But once we got back to the cars and whatnot, I was more into that because, I'm a car guy. So, yeah, that was Greg Dixon's second episode showing his layout, which is a pretty neat little layout. And he's got a long ways to go, but it's going and it looks pretty cool. And thank you, Johnny, for being my co-host, asking all the hard questions that I wasn't thinking about. So it made for a better episode, I think. I hope you guys like it. And just remember, links for Greg's information's in the description below. And my Patreon's down there too, if you want to check that out and help out. And yeah, hope you guys like it and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.